path to get the truth was bizarre. No matter what.
Used more spectacularly than most as a sneering hypocrite. Northam, you'll remember, won office in 2017, in part by suggesting his opponent's supporters were racist bigots who wanted to murder children. Literally. Meanwhile, Northam himself hid the fact that as a medical student, he either donned blackface or dressed up as a Klansman. He can't really remember which it was. It's so hard to remember. Was it blackface or a Klan robe? Northam, though, didn't resign in the middle of that scandal, you remember. Instead, he explained that his personal sins illustrated just how evil the state of Virginia is, if you're following. He did the crime, but it's your fault. And the only proper penance for his wicked citizens would be to take away their rights. Well, this year, he's getting his chance. Democrats, you remember, during the midterms, took total control of Virginia's state government for the first time in 25 years. A few decades of mass immigration from Central America and Harvard Law School will do that, and did. 1994 is only a quarter century ago, but the Democrats of 2019 are very different from the Democrats of 1994, particularly in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They're more power-hungry, for one thing, more radical, and far more willing to destroy centuries-old constitutional principles. Their chief target, they have announced, is the Second Amendment. When the Virginia legislature convenes next month, Democrats are planning a wave of aggressive new gun control measures. Among other things, they plan to ban the purchase of so-called assault weapons. Now, what's an assault weapon? Well, Governor Northam couldn't tell you, of course. He couldn't define it with any precision at all. But one expected provision is a ban on, quote, high-capacity magazines. Needless to say, that ban won't apply to Northam's own bodyguards, though his life and the life of his family members are too important to him to do that. But regular people will be affected, and, of course, they'll be punished if they break that law. Democrats also plan to pass a so-called red flag law that would allow police to seize the guns of people who haven't even been charged with a crime. Does that sound like something that violates due process? They don't care. And there's more. Until this week, Democrats are planning to make their assault weapons ban absolute. In other words, if you already owned an assault weapon, so-called, you'd have to turn it into the government or they'd send you to prison. They're also considering a law banning so-called paramilitary activity. That bill would ban teaching people how to use firearms or even how to do martial arts if the government decides teaching that is, quote, in furtherance of civil disorder, whatever that means. It would also ban citizens from marching or protesting in public with guns if the state decrees that the purpose is to, quote, intimidate someone. Awfully subjective, and of course that's the point. The point of these laws is not to make Virginians safer. In fact, Democrats are simultaneously promising leniency to criminals in the name of criminal justice reform. So safety is definitely not the point. There's no big city in America run by the left right now that's safer than it was. They're all getting more dangerous, and that's on purpose. The point of these laws is to make citizens in Virginia, law-abiding ones, weaker, to disempower them, demoralize them, and make them dependent upon the state, dependent on buffoons like Ralph Northam. Fortunately, some people are pushing back. While Virginia may have gone blue at the state level, the local level is different. Hundreds of communities have very different values, and some of them are willing to use the weapons of the left against them. 79 counties in Virginia have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries. One sheriff in the Commonwealth of Virginia is promising to swear in citizens en masse as deputies to protect their firearm rights.
I'm not going to stand and say that I won't enforce duly enacted laws by our legislature. I took an oath and I take it seriously. But when it comes to constitutionality and things, I look at that opportunity to swear in deputy sheriffs as a way that legally I can push back on that right for my citizens to defend themselves and bear arms.